In, hold, out, hold, in, hold, out.
Sit with what you just said and that strength. Okay.
The more you open yourself up, the more you get those downloads and hear and trust it. And self-trust is going to be the biggest thing to you, to trust what you're knowing, the knowing that's coming through, that connection.
And not caring about looking crazy. So yeah.
Right.
It's attached to our goddess Pele, which is the goddess of fire, and her volcano, or that's part of the eruption. And it's about how she comes in and she cleanses and cleans out things that need to be cleansed. And though most look at it as a destructive process, it really is about cleaning house and cleaning or cleansing. So it was kind of interesting that I connected with that. And for me, it was almost like as I was grounding you guys, I also had these other extensions of light kind of just wrap around Mauna which is the volcano, wrap around it and tap into that volcano source. So that was interesting.
And if you don't, you stay in the rut, you stay in the bullshit, you stay in the tears, you stay in the depression. Because I myself too am someone who's dealt with depression my damn near whole life. And I consciously had to come to a point to choose happiness over that fucking darkness, because it gets very comfortable there. We know that space. We know how that feels, right? We know how sitting in the shit feels. I might as well just stay here. Because if I get out of here, I fucking don't know what's coming at me, right? But you got to admit that part, right? And now you have to start taking the steps. And even when they're small, celebrate those steps. Celebrate each one. So what if you're not fucking leaping over mountains yet? So what? You guys showed up today. That's fucking
a little bit too much. And I know it's something I have to work on. So it's like, I feel like reading this is a little bit like, this is exercise of sharing things. Like, just share it. Like, share it.
Yeah, definitely. And look, you did it. You didn't want to. It was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You were able to push through. And do you think any of these things are things that you could say to your brother at some point?
And the people who were in my life who were toxic, I just recently had to deal with them for a couple weeks, and I do not even want them to be in my life anymore. So I could definitely feel the shift changing.
Aw. Oh, I get all tingles and then like I'm crying on the inside, happy tears.
Sometimes it's hard to, right? If you have a bad day or something comes up. Now I'm going to go over a few different methods that are going to be able to help you keep positive, keep focusing on the positive, but I also want to bring a couple of things to maybe your guys' attention as well. And this is going to show you how manifesting, you can manifest negative and positive. So one of my first questions is, how do you guys talk about yourself? If you're talking to somebody,
thank you for showing me by your actions that I deserve so much better. Because of you, I don't take no bullshit now. I'm content having peace with me and my kids now.
We're here.
No more walking around on eggshells for us. No more nights of me laying up, crying out, praying and begging God to get me out of this situation. Because I'm free now. Even if you don't release me, I choose to release you.
What is the deal with traffic? Because you talked about traffic.
I don't know. I don't have patience, and traffic just drives me crazy.
When in
Like,
traffic, what's going on when you're in traffic?
I just look at people like, what are you doing? Like somebody is like putting on makeup, and then it's like people are doing things to cause the traffic. That's making me upset. If that makes sense.
So in traffic, are you late?
Sometimes, but sometimes not.
Okay. Because the thing is, these people are just doing what they're doing, right? But they're irritating the hell out of you. Why?
I don't know. I'm a very irritable person.
Right. No, and this is what we're going to work through, because if you don't get to the bottom of the whys, then you don't get to heal it and work through it. So you have to get very real and get past your consciousness and your ego to really ask myself, why is the lady putting on the makeup in traffic irritating?
I mean, I guess I feel like people, I don't know, they don't use their brains. Like, it's like, sometimes it's like, why are you driving 10 miles in the fast lane? I don't understand, like, the logic of people. And they don't have any, care about other people and where other people have to go and what other people have to do. Don't care.
Right. Again, if someone wants to be in the fast lane doing 10 miles an hour, why does it irritate you?
Because it's like you don't care about people.
Right.
And it's like, not that things are right and wrong, but it's not really, it's a fast lane for a reason. So why can't you just move over?
Right. There's a little bit of entitlement to this that you're going to have to kind of see, because you're in this fast lane and you're like, well, the rules are this, so get out of my way so that I can go. Okay. But is that really good? Is that really okay? Because you could go around this person that's doing 10 miles an hour and not even blink an eye. And it doesn't need to affect your day, doesn't need to irritate you, doesn't need to do anything. It's just, okay, you're doing 10 miles, I'll go around you. But you are allowing this situation to piss you off and irritate you. It's not the person who's doing 10 miles an hour. There's something else coming up that Spirit is trying to get you to see. Okay? Because when we're allowing stuff like this to really irritate us, there's more going on within you, but it's repressed. So now the person doing 10 miles an hour is going to piss you the fuck off. The person next to you putting on makeup is going to piss you off because you're not dealing with core stuff. So now it's going to come out in all of these everyday, traffic is what it is. Traffic is not going to change. So you have to come back to this place like, damn, what is really going on that I'm pissed off in this moment?
Like 5 minutes. So I'm like, but it's my last one. And I'm like, but she's a fairy and she doesn't know and she needs it. Anyways, really cute woman. I'll have to tell you guys about her later. But I really believe she was a fairy, or is a fairy. If you see her, you'll be like, yes. But she carries that energy, just like really pixie like too. Like when we were out, and I was just like, oh my god, I've never. And then they're like, give it to her, and I'm like, no. Like, fine, I'll give it to her.
Is asked, what has romantic love done to me? I'm going to have you guys pick the most painful part. What is the most painful thing that romantic love has done to you? Then we're going to ask, why is it so bad? And we're going to continue asking, why is that so bad, to every answer you have, until we reach something that can't be broken down any further. And it's in the moment that we hit the thing that can't be broken down any further that we've reached your toxic core belief about yourself.
All you ladies for giving us your hearts and being open and sharing, because I know it's not easy, it's uncomfortable, but you guys did it. You showed up. You didn't show up for us, you showed up for yourselves. Like, while we may all have gotten something out of each and every one of your letters, it still wasn't for us.
can feel it. You can feel where it's coming from. You got to give yourself a little bit more slack though. You are still, remember, you're still carrying a lot of judgments and perceptions of other people, of the choices you've made dealing with him for 13 years. Okay? There's a part of you that will always love him. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Because there is a part of him that's lovable. Okay? So there's a piece of you that is still tormenting yourself because you loved him. Remember, there's a part of him that was lovable, and it is okay. People have made you feel like shit because this is the person that you love. This is the person your heart yearns for. And this is the part that I want you to work on accepting, because you are not a piece of shit because you love this man. You are not a horrible mother because you chose to try to stay and work it out. You are not a horrible person because you attempted time and time after, again, of breaking yourself down to try to fix things with him. We get so much slack from having this big giant heart and loving to the point of no return, that then we have to sit with all of this on our shoulders. And this is what you're going to be releasing. And I'm glad that you showed up today, and I hope to see you in more, because you're going to learn how to keep letting this go, the opinions of others, the shit of others, and start to accept, especially everything that you can't change. None of it you can change now. And even if you did know what you knew today, you wouldn't take away those babies. You wouldn't. Nothing would change. So again, that's where that strength that Andrea is, you know what I mean? That's what you're feeling, because through it all, you're, like Louisa said, you're still here. So you can. One of the biggest things of healing is to deprogram what you think you know, what you think is okay, what you think is right. And then you have to be accountable, because a lot of our ways are shitty as hell. A lot of our ways are judgmental as hell. We are taking a lot out on people that actually don't deserve it sometimes. So getting in your heart space is going to be everything, you guys. All of the downloads and messages that I have gotten through spirit, and I just had this other week where I was down for a week, and it's crazy because when I am actually sick is when I get some crazy downloads. When I'm in those, when you're just out of it kind of energy, I think it's because I'm out of it and because I'm in between spaces that I just get the craziest downloads. And so from everything that I've been getting, everything that's been coming through is let go. And I kept hearing the same things over and over. It was like I was going in a loop. Every time I would go to sleep or I would lay down, the loop would be the same. To heal, to let go, to forgive. And your heart is everything. When we get hurt, when we get traumatized, we think that our heart is weakness. We think love is weakness. We think being in the heart space is weakness. And so you definitely don't want to stay in that type of programming or that type of mindset and thinking that our heart is the problem. Your heart is never your problem. I'm hoping that, let's see people. But happy Valentine's Day, you guys. How are you guys feeling today? Oh, snap, it's your birthday.
I forgot it was Valentine's Day.
I know, for me too. It's like it's a regular day. Anybody feeling any type of way, like sad or anything today? Heaviness?
Wait, I won't lie. Some people at work wished a happy Valentine's Day, and I had nerve to feel slightly like, kind of like, shut the fuck. I was like, wait, Andrew, chill out, chill out. Like, it's cool. I was like, why did I feel a little bit like, you know what?
Because you have to come back, like, wait a minute, where did that come from? What? Like, what?
Yeah. Like, it's too early to be with this energy right now, Andrea. Just go about your business. And like, I don't know. I just felt kind of like, I got quite a few from like friends and family. I kind of be like, I was like, Andrea, it's not their problem. You're feeling this way.
Right. Do not get caught up with the Valentine's Day hype. We know that it's primarily for sales, okay? It is sales and marketing. Do not allow it to trigger you into the darkness and the hurt and the pain. You know, you would, even if you have a person or don't have a person, I myself am single, but I've always made it towards showing love to whatever kids were in the family. I never made it about relationships anyway. So it was like, auntie, you know, I'm the cool aunt that was sending shit for the kiddos. But once they got to a certain age, it was like, okay, you guys are too big now. You guys get nothing. Go find your own Valentines. But don't let it, you know, because it can trigger some spots of, okay, why am I alone? Where's my person? You know, I want to feel special. And that's what it's going to kick back. Everything that you might feel or might come up if you're feeling a certain type of way is going to go into, I don't feel special enough in this moment. I want to feel special. But the bad part about that is we want someone else to make us feel special. So we're missing a key point to make ourselves feel special. So if you start to feel that type of way, buy yourself those flowers that you want. Take yourself to dinner. I wouldn't go on Valentine's Day anyway. It's overpriced, it's overcrowded, and most likely, you know, you're going to be stuck in the rush of people trying to be out on a holiday. But do those things for you, because what it boils down to is you needing something from self, but you're projecting it that you want it from somebody else. Okay, so if we take that step back, we're going to be like, oh shit, that is a self-love thing. It is some shit I need to do for me, you know. I personally always buy myself flowers. That's something I just routinely do. I don't even think about it anymore. I don't wait for the holidays. I just kind of do it. I was doing it weekly, but now I've moved. Now I have to find another place that has nice flowers, because now where I'm at, I'm not liking these flower places, but that's a whole nother situation we're not even getting to. I'm not even gonna dig that hole. But yeah, do something for you, that bath for you, you know, cook that meal for you with love, you know, just getting that moment of, you know, let me take care of me, let me nurture me. And that's what nurturing and self-love, self-care comes into it. It's just getting to that moment and redirect that energy towards you, doing things for you. But don't get caught up in the whole hype of Valentine's Day. You, even if you had a person, you don't want them to wait one day a year to go crazy about you anyway. You would want it, like, you know, you would want to see that throughout the year. You would want that you guys to be a thing where you show each other that love and attention throughout the year, and not be just that one day. And there's always that person that's a codependent. You see them that has to get something, they have to get it delivered to work, they have to have it in front of everyone, and their person has to fucking do it so everybody can see it. It can be on social media. Let that person have their attention. Okay, that's, they need it, they need their attention, no judgment. Hey, you do you, you know, you got to have that attention. Your person knows that you need it at work. Okay, you know. Like, that's still ego. That's being in the ego. So please don't let it trick you. Anybody else feeling any type of way today? Are we just chilling?
I'm happy. This is the first Valentine's Day, and I couldn't even tell you how long that I'm not envious of anybody. I'm not like, oh, why can't I be in that relationship? It makes me happy to see people being in a relationship, whether it's fake or not. And I'm like, one day I'm going to have that. It just makes me feel really good, because when I was in relationships, I still felt alone on Valentine's Day. But now I'm like, shit, I love me more than I've ever loved myself. I am beyond happy.
Right. Yeah. When you just start doing everything and you're not waiting for someone to come and do it, then days like this it's another day. You don't have to worry about it being like, oh my God, here goes this, you know, this day and I'm alone. And I mean, we do have there is family members that will like to try to put it in your face. You know, we do know the family members that like to put it in people's face that they're alone or say certain shit. I would say just ignore their phone calls on days like this. You know, you have a particular family that's going to say a certain thing and trigger you. Stay away from them. They don't even answer the call. Don't even answer them. Anybody else have anything coming up for them today? I'm loving it, Vanessa, that you're just chilling in your energy today. I love it. I love it. That's a huge step. Huge step. Just to be not, in all in the emotions is huge.
Look at your cat.
So what I was saying earlier, if anyone came in a little bit late, this month is Heart Month, which, on a science side of, you guys can hear me, right? My music is not taking me out at all. All right. I just gotta make sure because I don't want to messing it up. So this is Heart Month anyway, healthy heart, of course it would coincide with Valentine's. But just taking care of your heart, and for when we think about on a healing level, and I talked a little bit about it right now, all the messages that I'm getting, all the downloads I'm getting is going towards your heart, being in your heart space, and healing. I think next month I'm going to focus again on come back to forgiveness. And I think self-forgiveness, because I think we do a lot of forgiving others, but we forget to forgive self. It's very hard to forgive self. And your self-forgiveness is going to tie into your belief system, first of all, right? What do you really believe in? If you believe in the sins, if you believe in heaven and hell, if you believe in, being a sinner, there's no coming back from what you've done, or you just can't get over some of the choices that you made. Some of it, you're still attached to someone that you can't forgive also, right? And I just want to remember, forgiveness is never about them. We have this misconception about forgiveness, which we think that when we forgive somebody, that we have to condone what they did to us. And that's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is never, ever, ever saying, oh, I agree what you did and what you did is okay. That's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is only accepting that this is this person. This person is a shitty person. This person was a molester. This person was a rapist. This person was, an abuser. This person was this, and you're accepting it, right? But you're relinquishing that connection. You're not opening the connection, because when you think of some of these traumatic situations, there's really nothing to forgive. I mean, in a sense, like to rekindle. So we're forgiving in a sense where we're not holding on to the anger towards it, because you'll never understand why this person did what they did, right? Unless this person goes and gets some hellified psychiatry, therapy, hypnosis session to figure out why they are what they are, you may never get those answers, right? You can kill yourself your whole life trying to wrap your mind around why this person is who they are. You'll never understand that. So part of forgiveness is letting all of that go, letting go the need to understand why this person chose what they chose. Okay. If you know that there's a certain person that you'll never let them back in your life, and you don't need to. So again, forgiveness does not come with condoning what they've done, and you don't have to understand it, because you never do. I remember this one guy, and I can't remember his name, but he had said, the day you understand who the person who harmed you, the day you understand what they did is the day you become them. And I was like, damn, that hit me hard, because I was like, oh, I never want to become that person to understand why they could do what they did. You'll never. So you'll never be that person. Again, and there's so many levels I can tell you on this side. There's so many different levels of why people molest, why people cheat, why people do the things that they do. Unless you could get within their energy, their past lives, you have no idea whatever this person is carrying them. I've seen so many different situations that I don't know who John is, but your picture is creepy as hell.
Sorry.
I was like, what is going on? I need some different pictures up, John. Okay.
What the hell?
I need some different pictures up. The pictures are weird. Otherwise, I might have to to take care. There we go. All right, there we go. I could deal with the pug. But yeah, so lost my train of thought for a minute. Where was I at? What was I saying?
You were saying that if you understand, you'll never know why people do what they do because you don't know their past life, their history, what their projection. Like you don't know the backstory of everything.
Right. Sitting in the state that I've been in, and this is 4 years now that I've been in this spiritual state, doing counseling through tarot. Counseling through tarot is what I've been doing for the past 4 years, and with mediumship, whatever tools that I've been using. And there's so many different levels that there are things that I'm still trying to wrap my brain around that it could even be possible. You know, when you get inside the psyche, when you get inside past the ego, when you get past into the past life energy, and you start looking at what people have been through and what that energy that's coming through, along with what they've been through in this life. Again, there's no way to know. We're assuming what people are, we're assuming what they've done, we're assuming. Again, you gotta let that part go. You will probably never understand unless that person goes and gets help. Okay. Can you push that person to go get help? No.
No.
Can you force them to go do it? No.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing you can do is turn your attention onto you and focus on you and heal you from your core. Okay. Your heart space is everything. Living out of your heart should be where you're at, not your mind. Your mind distracts and your mind complicates things, and your mind gets very cold. There's no emotion in the mind, okay? The mind's not set up for emotion. Your heart space is. And your heart space, if you have a pure heart, you naturally have a pure heart. Most people who have been hurt do, because you've allowed people to get very close to where they could hurt you. And you've allowed people to come multiple times and come and hurt you because you gave chances. That's what having a real pure heart is, right? So if you have that heart space, the problem with getting hurt is then we get scared to keep going back. We get scared to let people in. We get scared to show those emotions. We build up these walls. Some of you got barricades and shit. Some of you guys got more than walls. You got cement. What is it, like Fort Knox going around the heart space?
I wish I had Fort Knox.
No, you don't though. And that's my point is you don't. Being in your heart space is your superpower. You know how brave it is? And you guys have already done this multiple times. How brave it is to get knocked down and crushed in the heart space, stand back up and still love as hard as you love. That's brave. You know how easy it is to just be like, nope, cutting it off. Nope, fuck everybody. Everybody can die. That's easy. That is the easy way out. It takes more strength and more courageousness to stand up and be like, you know what? I was broken. This shit killed me, but I'm still going to love. That is huge. And that's where spirit is directing us to stay and be. Because this is why life in the world is so chaotic now. All the messages that I've got have gone back to, we can't change the world. This is not like a plea to change the world, or you only have control over yourself. But if you stay in the energy of your heart space, if you stay in the energy of love, then you keep vibrating higher than the rest of the people around you or the shitty people out there. And you don't have to allow them to be in your space. Some of us also have to forgive people who have chosen certain things in their life. I'm going to use myself as an example. When my father died, it's been about 15 years now. And I've worked through a lot of stuff with him in meditation. I didn't get to work with him when he was alive. I had to work with him. I don't want to say had to. I got to work with him in his spirit, with his spirit passed on, but I didn't get to work with him when he was alive. But I was very angry at him when he died. He had multiple organs that shut down, and he was 55. And I was like, you're too young. And I was pissed off. You'll never get this, and you'll never see your grandkids. And I was so mad at him for the choices that he chose. Again, his life, his choice. It's not up to us how other people live, even if we know it's the wrong, or at least what we perceive to be the wrong way of living, right? Because it's out of our perception. It's what I feel. I feel you should be doing this, or I feel you should be living this way. No one's to say that that's really right or wrong, unless someone's doing some crazy shit that they're murdering people, or, but whatever they choose to live, it's their choice. The only thing that you can do at the end of the day is choose if you want to be connected to them. What are they doing? If you're not morally doing some crazy shit, then I'm like, go do you. I'll love you from afar. If it's just drama and all that, I'm gonna love you from afar. But if you're just morally doing all this crazy stuff, I'm like, I don't want nothing to do with you. I'm like, nope, y'all just act like you don't know me. I don't need no one calling me, subpoenaing me. Do I know you later on? Some court stuff. Like, no. You just have to make the decision on who are you to the people that you love and care for. Most of us have sat in dysfunctional families, dysfunctional friend cycles for most of our lives. So this is normal. I just had this conversation with my sister-in-law. Me and my sister-in-law have had a rough patch of 20-something years of life in the family. And I was like, we actually got to have a really good conversation where we both apologized. And I was like, we were very dysfunctional. I was from a very dysfunctional family. There's a lot that she didn't deserve that she got because it was normal for us to argue. It was normal for us to scream and fight. And it was normal to cuss each other out and demean each other. Those things were normal. But at some point when you're healing and getting in that heart space, you don't want to do anything that demeans and hurts someone and tears them down. When you're living in your heart space, you might give somebody some real ass information, but it's still not going to be demeaning to where it tears them down to feel nothing. You know the difference between giving someone a piece of advice with love and giving somebody like, I want to make you feel like shit in this moment. It's cold. There's no love attached to that. Because when you're in the heart space, you're doing it with love. You can be honest in the heart space. You can give somebody truth, but it doesn't have to be cold. It's a very different space. So, at this point, everything that we're doing, just remember, come back to that heart space. Ask yourself, if you're pissed off for somebody, before you start going off on them, check in with your heart space. What am I truly mad at in this moment? If you ask yourself these questions, you're going to stop yourself from going over the ledge with certain people in certain situations. Because one, you're going to start to realize, who have I not forgiven? Who am I still judging, right? Who am I still projecting my own bullshit on, right? You're going to start to understand it's not everybody else. It starts with you. So if you start asking your questions, who am I really mad at in this moment? If it's a situation that has nothing to do with your welfare, your being, your home, your money, nothing to do with you, why are you mad? That's what you need to ask yourself in this moment. Why am I mad in this situation? Most of the time it's like, man, because I've been there and I just want that person to do better and I just want them to see and I just want them to, again, that has nothing to do with us. We're frustrated because we see something within them that we've either messed up on, or we're projecting our own shoulda, coulda, wouldas out on this person. So again, taking that step back, going into the heart space. There's tons of ways, and we do them in all of these workshops, there's tons of ways to work through forgiveness. One, you have to understand why you're pissed off and mad at somebody. And your reasons can be valid. It doesn't take away from working through the process. You can be valid, mad, okay? I'm lucky that right now I'm still working through things with my mom, and she's physically still here to where I can do that. And I say I'm very lucky to do that. Again, I did not get that chance with my dad. So it's been very different style of trying to heal and work through generational stuff. Again, is it still going to bring up triggers? Oh, hell yeah. It's going to drive you fucking crazy? Hell yeah. But you got to just woosah for that moment and say, again, what am I really still mad at? You can't change anything that happened, right? Even if you sit and have a conversation with someone that you feel let you down, they weren't the best parent, what's going to change right now?
Nothing.
It really isn't. They can't make up for that lost time. They can acknowledge it. And let me tell you, it feels good if your parent It didn't step up for you, or they weren't there for you, or whatever it is that you felt that they didn't do, when they acknowledge it, it does feel good, but they can't change it. One of the things I realized working with my mom, who's still alive, is that it was like, she can't change it. It still happened. It's still there. Regardless if she acknowledged it, regardless if she apologizes, it's still there. It's something that I have to work out with my younger versions of self. Has nothing to do with her. You have to go to those versions of you that were hurt, those versions of you that were scared, those versions of you that didn't feel secure, that didn't feel safe. Those are the versions to sit and repair and to strengthen and to show that you got this now. And I guarantee if you go through different, you don't have to do it with me. Get into meditation and do this, you'll see. Get with those, and all you have to do is get into meditation very quick and ask, and we could do it today. But get in there and ask, what version of me needs me today? The version of you that needs you is going to pop up. Whether you see her, whether you feel her, whether you hear something, and you ask, what do you need today? Just going to say it. Or that version of you might just not say shit because they don't trust you yet. I had to work with the 15-year-old version of myself for 2 years straight. And she was pissed off and mad at me. And every time she would come and I would be like, damn, all right, let me see, how are we gonna do this? And I just recently, last year, at the around, I think it was around March or April last year, I think it was, where I barely finally got her to smile. And I actually worked with another QHHT specialist who actually did a session with me, a short session with me online. And it was for the first time I was able to even reunite her with the first daughter that I had lost. So, and that was huge. And I just cried to even watch the 15-year-old and the daughter, that she lost reunite and have that moment together. So meditation is powerful. So when I say these type of meditation, I wouldn't even have any music in the background because it's an active meditation. You're going to be prompting yourself to go through this. So if you don't have anything on, and I always say, you don't have to breathe all crazy, just breathe normal. Always put your hands on your heart space when you're doing heart work, okay? Always put those hands on your heart space and connect. But when you're working with the younger versions, just call in that younger version. It's very simple, call in that younger version. One of the first healers I worked with, she was a theta healer, and she would just do these 5-minute sessions with me, but they were powerful. 5 minutes, pull that version of you in, and I would be crying and all time. I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck? I'm like, what the hell just happened? But a lot of the times, especially if you're not good with your emotions, you're fighting that. And you're fighting those emotions because you don't want to cry. Like, I don't want to be a baby, but you need to release. That's those emotions that are caught in there. And every time you do this, like I said, the version of you that needs you the most is going to come. It might be the version of you today. And if that version is the one that comes, that's the one you need to see.
Wow.
When I first did it, the first version of me actually was my 5-year-old version of me. And it was sad because the minute I saw her, she was hiding behind a couch. And she was so scared and she was so alone. And I broke out in tears. The second I saw her, I was crying like a baby because I was just like, how long has she been sitting in this time, in this space by herself, And she wouldn't just come to me. It wasn't just like I put my hands out and she ran to me. I had to talk to her. I had to keep, sending her love and just showing her that I'm here for you. And it took a moment to work through that to get her to come to me. But now she's the one with me, and she's always giving little flowers to all the other versions of myself. She's my road dog now. She's always in meditation with me. We're going around giving flowers and shit. She's always got daisies or some shit like that. But the version of you, whatever version that is going to come to you, especially when you've been through multiple things in your life. There's not one or two situations that have probably hurt you or broken you down. There's probably been multiple moments because kids project things differently anyway. We always are projecting things in a way that sometimes is way off from what it truly was. I was a very touchy-feely with my daughter and loving. She still felt like I was just telling her the shit because I'm her mom and I had to. It was just like, wait, what? That's how you really feel? Like, wait, what? Because in her head, you're my mom. You have to tell me that. You know, no matter. So again, kids are projecting their own stuff and seeing things in their own way, you know. So you just work on you and who you need to forgive. And especially moms who have a lot of guilt on choices, work through that again, because like your parents, they did the very best that they could. And I know sometimes it's hard to believe, like, damn, that was the best that you had, but it was with the tools that they were given, that was the best that they fucking could give you. And you may not be that parent or have decided to be the same as them, but just leave it at that. Like, I accept that that's the best that you could give me. With the tools that you had, that was it. That's all you could give me. You loved me in the way that you could. Because a lot of times we don't really look back when they're alive. It's normally when they're dead that you can look back and be like, you know what? I actually can see how this person tried to show me. They tried to do these things in their way. It wasn't what I wanted or needed it, right? Because I needed more, but they tried to the best of their ability. And then when they're dead is when we can look back and be like, oh shit, damn, you know, I wish I would have just appreciated that just a little bit more, because we always have this, you know, I want more. This person could have did more for me. And so the same, like I look at my daughter, like I had a lot of guilt and stuff for being that working mom and not being there, and her feeling abandoned and her feeling alone. But again, it's just something that you have to say, okay, these are the choices I made. At the time, I thought they were the best choices for us, you know, with the information I had at the time. Your parents did the same. They thought with the information that they had at that moment was the best that they got, and they chose to do certain things that blew up in their faces, caused chaos in our lives. Some of those very things were our lessons to learn anyway. So we're blaming them and we're pissed off and mad at them. That was part of our contract to come here to learn anyway. So again, if we can start thinking of things in a different way, if we can change our perception on some of the things we've been through, especially when it comes to parents or our loved ones or our spouses and our children, if we can start to look at it from that different lens, we can start to forgive and release and not hold on to the shit that happened, okay? Especially when it comes to your own stuff. And I know how hard to keep those burdens of guilt. And you'll see it if you ever sit and do some of these workshops, you just start to see it in the words when you read what you're writing, especially if you join one of Louisa's Write a Letter. Man, get into that workshop if you haven't. That one is powerful. You just write a letter, and it's always who needs that, you know, who needs it. And the first person that comes to mind is normally the person you do. Everything, if you go by your intuition, and if you ever are someone who talks to me, or something that I always say is, okay, if you close your eyes, you take a deep breath, what's the first thing that you hear when you ask yourself that question? That's my first go-to. And I learned that working with theta healers. That's one of the biggest things, because the theta healers make you put it on you. Nope, I'm not the one that's gonna tap in and tell you what you need. You're gonna tap in and tell me what you need. And so if you really shut that ego, if you really take that step back and you close your eyes, real simple, even in the conscious mind, you don't got to be in meditation to do it. Ask yourself, what do I need? You start checking in with yourself today before you even get up. Before you even get up, put your hand over your heart space. Check in with yourself. Take that breath. What do I need today? Before you even get your day started, what are you hearing? You got to start to get, if you don't already have some type of daily, I don't want to say daily routine, but it is kind of like a daily routine. You got to start to make some routine to check in with self. Check in with your heart space, especially. We're running on fucking empty in our heart spaces. And we don't even realize it half the time until we're blowing up, we're cussing somebody out, we're going off, we're crying and breaking down, right? Because we're rolling on empty. Again,
I'm tired of rolling on empty. I'm tired of crying.
Stop leaving yourself on empty. Stop giving everything. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say I don't have it. It's okay to say my bank account does not agree with what you're asking for. it's okay to say no to yourself too. You don't
That's
got
the
to
problem. I
do,
don't know how to say no to myself.
yeah, you don't got to do and get everything that you want. You can say no to self. And I think, and this is one of the things a couple years ago, I think it was 2019, I went through probably the worst financial situation in my life. And it was spirit putting me on my ass to realize how I was still very tied to materialism, and I was still very tied to money, and I was still very tied to my success in money. And it was all coming from a place of lack. It wasn't coming from a place where I could manifest. It was coming from a place from lack. So in 2019, I literally almost lost my car. I was like probably damn near about to get evicted. And I was just in this space of how the fuck did I get here? But it was one of those moments to just really sit back and ask the whys. Why am I doing this? Let me really look at and that's when I truly started to look at my bank account. I don't think before that I even looked at my bank account. Before that I didn't have a budget. I just was, I've been doing this for years, like blah, 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 But there was a lot of ties in it for me to take a step back and just see things differently. And I had to look at it totally different. I couldn't look at it with the same eyes. I couldn't look at it from the perception I had before. I had to take a step back and just say, okay, and start asking myself some whys, some hard whys. So if you can't tell yourself no, you need to ask yourself why. In this moment, do I really need this? And it's not to say not to do nice things for yourself, but if you're splurging money, it's coming from an impulse. The impulse is coming from something that you're trying to make feel better through impulse shopping or impulse buying. Or in this moment, I'm gonna make myself feel good. Or in this moment, am I bored? And this is where I go back to one of the things that I started to do in 2019 was heal, self-development. I started chasing self-development. You don't have to do the workshops just with us. Find workshops with anybody. Start investing in that. Take the money that you would have fucked off on a bag or them shoes or the whatever, fast food, whatever it is. Put that money to the side and say, I'm going to invest in me. I'm going to invest in my self-development. One of the biggest things that I had to learn was how I saw the value in things. We don't value ourselves as people. We will go spend a couple $100s on a car to get it fixed. We'll drop $600 real quick to fix the car that we need, right? We won't put that in ourselves, though. We won't spend $600. Well, I will now, but there was a time where it was like $600 for a course. That seems kind of steep, And you have to look at it like, why are you devalued? Why are you less than what you would do for your home? How much would you spend to change out the refrigerator? Because you feel like you need that refrigerator for the food, right? It's a necessity. You should be just as important as anything in your life. And one of the things that I had to change was the value of self. So in 2019, when I was going through this, because I didn't have that value to self, I wouldn't take money for myself, not in that way. I wouldn't put that money to the side. I would do everything else. I put money into everything else to keep it functionally working. But me, I was hanging on threads. And so this is where you just look at how valuable are you in everything that you want to do. We can make excuses. We could say we're too busy, the kids, I'm too tired, I'm this, I'm that, I got to work. Or you could just say, let me cut the shit. Let me stop making excuses and let me put the time and effort into me, right? Once you start doing that, you're going to see the changes. It's going to be little, but it has to start with you believing that you deserve better. Because until you believe that, nothing's going to change. You will be in a cycle. It'll get good for 2 seconds. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you can attest to that. It'll get good for 2 seconds. Then all of a sudden, you're right back at square one. It seems like things are getting better. You'll stop doing the things that you started doing stuff. And then what happens? Right back at square one. It has to be a continuous thing where you are constantly putting into self. You have got to fill your cup up. And that comes with things that people didn't teach us what to do or how to do it growing up. No one taught us how to fill our cups up. Everyone taught us how to give, and be there for everybody else. No one really taught us how to make ourselves just as important as everybody else. So this is what you're doing. But I want you guys to think of your heart space as a primary source and function that you need to check in with on a daily basis. It's crazy that when you get to a certain spot, you're going to feel your heart space in ways that you're going to be like, what the hell? Well, this is what she was talking about. You're going to get around people and you're going to feel their pain. It's going to be trippy because the more you open that heart space, the more you're going to feel on a higher level. And that's where you want to be. That's the neat part. That's where you want to be. That's the good part. I know it sounds scary, but if I have you guys right now, close your eyes and put your hands over your heart space. I want you just to ask your heart space right now, what do I need? What do you hear? Anybody get a volunteer?
I heard love and I asked from who, and I said myself. Then I asked, is there anything else that I need? And I said understanding, and I asked from who, and I said from myself.
Right. Do you understand when your heart says that they need love from you?
Yeah.
Okay. Because
I have a problem with like being too hard on myself and like,
right.
I let this happen. How can I let this happen? And right. It's a huge work in progress because I'm not like I used to be, but it's not. I know it's not where it has to be, or I wouldn't have been in a funk for 3 months.
Right. Part of that is, again, with the guilt and the shame of choices made, right? It's understanding that, yes, you may have allowed someone to hurt you multiple times. That doesn't make you a horrible person. Doesn't make you stupid. Doesn't make you all of those things that you've called yourself. You really wanted this person to change. Doesn't make you a bad person for that. And that's what you got to let go. Because you're correlating what this person did to you to your heart space. Your heart space wasn't the problem. And it doesn't make you a bad person because you wanted that person to change. Because most of the time, you really hope that the love you have for this person is going to help this person on some level, right? And that's part of just working through that. And that's where the understanding goes. Again, you'll never understand that person's mindset. You'll never understand how they could do what they did to you, no matter how much you love that person and how much they abuse you. You'll never fucking get it. The understanding is not coming from understanding that person. It's just understanding that you kept trying and there's nothing wrong with that. Let it go. Shit, you can't change it. The only thing you could do is from today, this moment on, be like, never again. Right?
Exactly. Never again.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I'll go. It got real quiet. And then I was like, silence? Is this what it is? And it got real quiet again. I'm like, I guess silence, which kind of makes sense because I can get caught up in my head sometimes, like, it hasn't like this and then this, well, if this hasn't and this happened, and then and So I'm like, maybe it's silence.
Right. And I feel like with that silence, you get to listen to your heart space. Because as an overthinker, I'm someone who has been an overthinker, been in my head. That constant chatter in the brain, right? But working with the heart space has made me get into that calmer, quieter space of just listening. And then you connect to the heart, which then, even though it adds up, but it's like, oh shit, that's what the heart sounds like, totally different.
And like, I feel like because my overthinking can override the reminder of the wonder in the world, even when I see examples of it, like, you cannot predict what's going to happen. If something's meant for you, when it come towards you, you can't predict. Try all you want, you're not going to predict it. And then I go, but and the life children are like, but then this, I go, but. So I feel like, oh, okay.
There's a time and place for the mind, right? And we have to remember the mind is doing what the mind does. But we have to get into a practice of just silencing the mind. And it's not turning the mind off. Remember, the mind is doing what the mind does. But if you get into the practice of shifting your being, connecting to your being, shifting, you no longer hear the mind. The mind is still doing what it does, but it's no longer irritating you or talking, because now you shifted into other spaces, like shifting into the heart space. And so when you keep doing that, and you could do it many different places, the heart space, wherever you want to travel in meditation, if you want to talk to a past love, whatever you're doing. What I love about meditation is that there's no one way to do it. So it's just shifting your being into whatever you're concentrating on. The mind's still going to go off and do what it does, and the mind can be over there talking. But you just learn how to quiet it, which is something trippy. And that's what whenever I have someone who's like, no, I have ADHD and I can't do it, I'm like, oh, really? Because I know how it is. I know the chatter of the mind. That's bullshit. There's active meditation. You can actively meditate. It's not about quieting the mind. The mind is the brain. That's what it's doing. It's a mechanism of the brain that's going to do what it does. So if you're focusing on quieting the mind, you're way off of what you should be focusing on. Focus on your being or your heart space. You really start to focus on the heart space. That takes you to a whole different ball game, a whole different space. And that's trippy on its own to just keep sitting in the heart space, just keep going in the heart space. So I would say keep practicing that. Just keep going in the heart space and seeing how that feels. What does that sound like? It's going to be so different from the conscious mind.
Mom keeps saying peace.
Peace.
I need to be at peace.
Did you ask how can you create peace?
No, I think I just got scared. And
Did you hear the answer?
yeah.
I know. Because the answer is going to be there. I mean, if you're ready, go ahead and ask yourself. If you're not, then don't. Because you can't have peace on the outside if there's no peace in the inside, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's all chaotic all in here, well, shit, outside is going to be fucking chaotic and crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, are you asking? Anybody else have anything come up for them?
Well, I just needed more rest.
Rest. Interesting.
I need more rest. And then I was like, what kind of rest? And I just felt like I need to be by the water.
Okay. Rest and be by the water. Not exactly what you want.
No, not at all. Not at all. Be by the water, yes. On the beach, yes. Being made to sit still and be with myself, no.
Did you ask why?
No, because I know I'm going to get the same answer I done got for the past year. I need to heal. I need to sit with myself. I need rest.
What is the connection and importance to the water?
Water, I feel peace. I feel at peace when I'm at the beach and when I'm around water. I'm relaxed. I feel peaceful. I like nature. Nothing bothers me. I just have peace of mind. I don't feel stressed. I'm left alone.
Mm-hmm. Okay. See, the heart knows what you need. You can use things to meditate, you guys. Some people use mushrooms. Some people, I mean, there's all kind of I've never tried things in meditation myself, just because I'm too kind of out there already. So I feel like other shit will just have me way out somewhere. So I personally haven't tried nothing, but you definitely can. One of the things, especially if you have an ego that gets in your way a lot, you definitely can try. There are some people who do use different things. Weed too. Some people smoke before they do. You got to find your own way. There's no right or wrong to it. There's no, I personally try to be in the clearest of mind. So you would know what that looks like. Because unless, I don't know if you know, I don't buy weed, so I don't know how that is these days. I don't know how organic that is.
I'd rather not trust it than not smoke.
I don't know, maybe they got organic stuff out there. But there are people who have, done mushrooms and stuff, but it kind of enhances what they're doing, kind of like the psychedelics, enhancing what you're going to see, which is still awesome because you get to tap in on some different levels.
How do you use the mushrooms?
I wouldn't even tell you because I don't know how. I haven't tried it myself. It's something I want to try, actually. I just haven't done it. So I wouldn't even tell you how to do it or what's the safe way to do it.
I tried it actually recently, and I was through an edible. I was able to go somewhere where they had it like kind of divvied out amount, but I saw Medusa, good and bad of Medusa, like the light of her and the evil of her.
Oh Lord.
A lot of like sacred geometries, a lot of orange and a lot of yellow. I hate snakes. I saw snakes bite on the parts of my body that I didn't like, and that's then when I saw Medusa, but it didn't scare me though when I saw the snakes.
Right.
I saw
hell no.
good and then the bad, like witching, like the evil that's presented and like the good within. It was kind of crazy.
The duality.
Yeah, I mean, would I do it again? I don't know. It was a long effing night.
Right.
And I felt like it wouldn't end when I was ready for it to end. But I do remember what I saw. I saw a lot of green, green was like heavy with green, which I interpreted as heart space.
Right.
So.
I have my sister-in-law, she actually smokes. I think she actually stopped recently. She used to smoke, and then she's been doing a lot of healing, so she hasn't had so much pain and stuff. But she talks about like meditating like that and just being able to like shift, my oldest did an edible and was meditating, and she had a half of one, okay? And my poor baby, she had a half of one. And she was just like, it was too much. She was like, it was too much because she literally was in the universe. And you are going out, and especially if you are kind of used to shifting, and she does meditation. So she was already shifting, and she just kept seeing the infinity symbol. And they were telling her, unfortunately, she'll be back. And she was like, I don't want to come back. She was like, they were very adamant to be like, you'll be back. And she was like, I don't want to go back.
I'm gonna have to check myself into the nut house.
She said she was just like, can I just go back to not knowing any of this? Like, can I just go back to being naive and just go back? I was like, no, you can't take what you know back. Once you learn this shit, it's there. Once you start tapping in, you start to see some crazy stuff. And I say crazy, but it's profound when you do tap in, all the sessions I've done, I haven't been on nothing. Even like I got a chance to volunteer twice at an ayahuasca center last year. I wasn't actually on something, but I actually was tapped in, like fully tapped in. Like I was trying to purge with the people that were on the ayahuasca drink, and I hadn't even drunk. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Because I'm already too tapped in as it is. So I'm kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out anyway on my natural. So to enhance that, I kind of have to make sure I'm in a safe environment when I do decide to do ayahuasca, because I do want to do ayahuasca and I do want to try mushrooms, just because people have said they've tried it and see what happens, like see who.
I will say when I did it, I was not trying to tap into shit at all. I wasn't trying to do nothing but just, that sounds fun. Okay. So I can only imagine if I was trying to tap in what I would see. Because I'm like, it was, yeah. And then like I started kind of doing this thing where I was thinking about like past lives, and I was like, well, maybe what if, and it started making a lot of sense. I was like, I don't know if that was my mind going, but the Medusa thing, I'm like, I don't like snakes, I don't like anyone else. I was like, that just came up. So I can only imagine for those who like really tap in and they do it, like how intense that would be of like, whew.
Right. I would say be careful though, because if you haven't worked through a lot of stuff, normally your fears pop up. And depending on how those fears look, like even when you hear people who have done psychedelics and stuff like that, they'll say that, and it gets very scary very quickly. So I would just say be careful. If you are going to test things out, try to have it in an environment where you trust whoever you're with. You're home, you're not, or you're in a facility where people are watching you. You have people, to kind of guide you or something. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and it lasts like 12 hours too. So it's like, get comfortable. I'm going to be there for a while.
Yeah.
Now I made my own edibles. I don't know what weed it was. I don't know what weed it was, but I made my own, because I made my own oil. And it was like I had made these brownies, and I had ate this big. It was huge. I ate a big piece of brownie, and it was like coming in waves. It was coming in waves. It was like I would be fine, and then it was like I thought I was asleep, but I was woke, and it would then I would be okay, and then I'd be out, and then I'd come back, and it like I said, it would just come in waves, and it was just the craziest shit ever. And then my kids, they just put me in a room in the dark and shut the door, and they was like, "Mom, be all right." And then,
Oh, what the hell?
yeah, they was like, "Yeah, Mom," and then yeah, I was in there tripping because I was like, I had to go to the bathroom, and I just kept laughing. And then my sister was in the bed asleep, and somehow I ended up on the floor. And she was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I was like, "You can see me." And she was like, "Yes, bitch, I can see you." I said, "You can see me. I ain't invisible." And she was like, "No." I was in there. I was tripping. I was, yeah, I was. Yeah, they just put me in the room. They just put me in the room in the dark and shut the door. Then there was one time I had ate the edible, and I had forgot that I had ate the edible, and I had walked and met my husband, and I was going to go back and get my truck and bring it back to the auto place. But while I was standing there waiting for him to get his truck, my edible had started kicking in. So I thought I was whispering, but I really wasn't whispering. So I went up to the little glass, but I thought I was tapping, but I was banging on the glass.
Oh, what the hell?
And my husband was like, "What the hell?" And I was like, "Babe, I forgot I ate an edible. It's kicking in." So he took me home. And when he took me home, I literally sat on the couch. And from the time he took me in the house to the time he got off work, mind you, this was like lunchtime. So I literally sat in that same spot, staring at my refrigerator, trying to figure out how I could get food out the refrigerator and eat and not get off the couch. I was still sitting in the same spot when he came home from work. Yeah, it was some good, and I still have that oil. So that oil right now, that's been a few years, so I know that oil right now is good and strong.
Right.
So
I probably,
if I made an edible with that same oil right now, I probably think I could fly at this point. I probably would think I could fly.
you're gonna be acting like Hattie on Medea.
Yeah, I think if I made something with that, because that's been a couple years. So I think if I made something with that oil right now, I probably think I could fly.
Right.
Probably,
yeah. So be careful with that, y'all. With meditation, there's different type of meditations. There's active meditation where you might be guiding yourself to do a particular thing, like going to a past event or healing or repair or whatever, or you might do, like if you listen meditation before you go to sleep, that's an intention. You're setting an intention before you go to sleep. You want your subconscious to do some of the stuff while you're asleep, you know, where you're not active, you're just kind of sleep listening to it. So it really just depends. There's so many different ways to meditate. Okay. Did anything else come up for anybody that we didn't get to as far as checking in with the heart?
I don't know, but this heart feels numb as hell. I keep closing my eyes and trying to meditate, but it won't.
Okay, interesting word that you use. Ask your heart space. Why do you feel numb?
I don't know. Maybe because I'm going through so much right now.
So I don't accept I don't knows. That's your conscious mind trying to get in your way. So silence that conscious mind. Check back into that heart space. Why are you feeling numb?
It's like I'm forcing myself to feel numb so I don't have to feel and hurt.
What is the first thing that comes up that is painful that you're trying to numb?
Me getting ready for this divorce.
What's the worst part about this divorce for you?
I don't want to be alone. I'm afraid to be alone.
What's the worst part about being alone?
Lonely. I don't want to be lonely.
What's the worst part of being alone? What's the
I
worst?
think I'm blocking it. Like I can't.
You are. What's the worst part about feeling lonely?
It's scary to me. Like I've never been alone before. Like
You may have like a codependency with to have somebody there with you if you've never been alone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to feel those things. See, a lot of times we're trying to force ourselves to feel shit other than what we're feeling. It's okay what you're going through. The fact that you've never been alone, the fact that this is going to take you out of what you've ever known to be, you have to recreate who are you. That's a huge step. And allow yourself to work through that, process it, honor it. It's okay. Be scared, be in those. Just don't stay there. Just don't stay there.
I know it's so weird. So like, I won't even let my kids go places because I don't want to be alone.
That's not healthy though. What are you afraid of?
Honestly, when I'm in the house and I'm alone, I think like, I don't know. I think I'd be hallucinating. Like I'd be thinking like I'm seeing stuff.
Like what?
Like I go to look in one spot, then when I go look, it be look like I be thinking like I see like a shadow or something walk past.
Have you ever checked in to see what the shadow is?
Yeah.
What's the shadow?
My aunt, she's I don't know how to call it. She told me that the shadow that I'm seeing is nothing for me to be afraid of.
And why are you afraid?
I don't know why I'm afraid of it. Like sometimes, like if I catch myself being scared of it, I just pray and like I just ask God to remove it.
What's the worst that you think that shadow could do?
Well, now I know that shadow can't do nothing to me now. Now I know it can't do nothing to me, but before I used to think that it could harm me.
Right. So you no longer need that belief or that programming that makes you feel like you need to be afraid of that shadow.
Mm-hmm.
So you can let that go. When you're ready to let that go, though.
I know, right?
You got to be ready, because we can talk about it, right? But if you're not ready, to step past that threshold of fear, you know, then you're going to stay there. What are some things that you can do to make your place of where you are at feel more comfortable and safe?
I actually like, I burn sage and stuff like that a lot. Sage.
Mm-hmm.
When I burn sage, it makes me feel comfortable in my home. Like I could be in my home by myself. I won't be scared or nervous or nothing like that.
Okay. Baby steps. Baby steps. What else is one other thing that you want to numb? That you don't numb, okay? Allow yourself to feel, because what you're feeling is normal. It's not nothing that's not normal. It's not nothing that to process it. Allow yourself to feel and work through what you're feeling and honor it. What is one other thing that you're trying to numb that you don't want to feel?
Hurt. I don't want to be hurt.
Hurt from what?
From not being able to work my marriage out. Like I feel like a failure, like my marriage has failed.
Right. So to whose standards that your marriage failed?
Mine.
Where did you create those standards?
In my own mind.
Like if no one, like from your childhood or whoever you've seen in relationship advice in the world, if you took all that away, would you still have the same impression on how long a marriage should be or how good a marriage should be?
No.
Okay. The point I want you to see is we all have pre-programming. We all get it from somewhere, right? So somewhere along the line, you create this perception of what you think marriage is, or what it should be, or how long it should be. There's no guarantees in a relationship that a relationship is going to withstand the hands of time, right? Even the best of relationships, even the best people will face times that they will not be able to reconcile, and they'll have to make that choice to understand it's time to let go. You're not a failure because you guys recognize that it's time to let go. Most people will stay in a relationship just to save face, and they'll be miserable as fuck every day of their life after that.
Yeah, I don't want to be like that, because that's how I'm starting to feel, like I'm miserable. Like,
right. Yeah. So there's other stuff behind that's got, you know what I mean? There's, because a lot of it's going to go to the pre-programming of what you feel, especially women when we get older and how we're looked at in society and all of that bullshit. Just keep removing all of that, okay? And again, if you and your husband know that it's time, then you know it's time.
Yeah.
And if there's no working it out, accept what is. But again, it's kind of like grief. So when we go through loss, any type of loss, even separation in relationships, is like a grief process. You got to allow yourself to work through it. Do not numb what you're feeling. Okay. Don't chase things to numb so you won't have to deal with it. Deal with it, because dealing with it allows you to accept what is and allows you to start to focus on what other things can I change right now. And I would say find a hobby. While you're going through what you're going through, find some type of hobby to just not distract you, but have something that you can focus on other than everything else that might feel like it's crumbling. Because when you do a shift like that, it is feeling like your life is crumbling and things are about to get crazy. So find some type of positive hobby that you can start to do to take some of the time and some of the attention off of that. Because again, you do not want to numb it. You want to go through it. You want to process it, and you want to accept what is and release what you cannot control, right? Yeah. It's rough. It's not easy. It's not easy. And normally that's what we're doing. We're running from a lot of the things that we need to address, and we're putting everyone else in front of what we need to work on or allow ourselves to kind of work through. And that's where we start closing the heart space. And that's the wrong thing. You don't want to close the heart space. You want the heart space open and thriving. Betty, did anything come up for you? I'm putting y'all on the spot now.
Mm.
I don't know, Betty might have went to the bathroom. Nikki, anything come up for you when you checked in with Heart Space?
You said me?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it was what I don't remember what the first girl that went. I don't remember what her name was, but it was like the same thing that it was for her. It was like love and being much more gentle with myself. But like I hear what you was just saying about like not trying to numb it and to release it. Cause like I just was going through a situation the other night and I went and I got like a big ass bottle of like peach Smirnoff. And girl, I ain't even drink that much. And I was so hungover the next day. And my head was throbbing all day. And then I just like got mad and poured the whole bottle out.
Right.
But like I guess my problem that I noticed is I don't know, like I release a lot through crying, right? I don't release a lot through writing. I release a lot through crying. I tried to transmute a lot of the energy and baking a few cakes, and the cakes were horrible. Like my energy was awful. Like, and baking cakes is my craft, but those cakes weren't. I mean, my kids like them, but kids don't know quality, not really. So I picked up on that. You know what I mean? And I was just kind of like I was disappointed. And what my problem is it's like I need something to break the emotional dam so the tears can just flow. And you know, like I ain't gonna hold you. Like I sat up a couple times. I might have listened to a couple heartbreak songs because this isn't just what my baby dad releasing my baby dad. It's like my biological family and my adopted family. It's a lot of opposition that's up against me right now, all because I chose me. You feel me? It like deep. And I don't know how like I could listen to a heartbreak song all day, but that's not gonna cause them tears to come. Like I don't know what causes them to come. Like because I'm you know me, I'm emotional as it is, but it's turned into more resentment. You know what I mean? And feeling like rejected and abandoned again, you know, and with that, it's kind of like a barrier that them built up. So it's like I don't know what to do for them tears to flow.
Why do you feel like you gotta have the tears to release though?
It's just I noticed that within trying different ways to release, the tears is what brings me a lot of relief. You know, like I'm telling you, like I know when you start to hold on to things, you feel it in your body. I feel the shit all up in here, bro. I feel like I've never felt like I can't even explain what it is, bro. Like I got swollen lymph nodes all in here. I had them for like almost 2 years now. Doctors can't tell me nothing that's wrong, but I know what's wrong. And I don't know what to do to release them. Like I wrote a letter, you know, like I was with you the first time I wrote the letter. Okay, I wrote a letter to myself and I just shared it in the group. Like what last week was that? I don't remember. It was like a 5-page letter and I shed a few tears, but that's it. Like it was a few and then it was over. Whereas like the first time I read it out loud, I read it to my oldest son. That's like my best friend. He's 15. And he like the tears just flow. Like I couldn't even stop them. But I don't know what the difference was with sharing it with him versus sharing it with the group.
Well, you know? I mean, if you look at it, the group is one thing. They're kind of people you may know a little bit. But your son, there's a lot of he's been there with you through it all. You know what I mean? You've kind of grown up with him. So it's a difference. That emotional connection right there is going to hit you a different way when you're reading that You know what I mean? I feel like I keep feeling you have anger still trapped in you. Not necessarily is anger going to be released through emotions though.
Okay.
So, and there's, and again, there's different, you're going to have to just find what works for you in different exercises. Not everyone is going to be the emotions. The emotions are great. And yes, you do feel a lot better afterwards. That's not always going to work in everything that's trapped in the body. Unfortunately, you're going to have to probably try different styles of healing sessions. And I only say this because I've done so many different types of styles, not just meditation, but different styles, theta healing or like regression type stuff, or have somebody walk you through a process to figure out where is it trapped and release it, and see how you feel it if it comes up, because it doesn't sound like that stuff is going to come up. Not everything comes up as emotions. I've been telling a lot of people the past, like, what, 2 months? It's been like 2 or 3 months now. I think I've been here 4 months. I think I'm losing time. We've been doing a lot of generational healing, and it hasn't come out in tears. Like you would think that some of it would have come out in tears and crying and stuff. A lot of it has come out. My face got broken out, like, and I haven't had my face broken out in years. And I mean, but stuff like this is anger coming out. And some of the stuff is just releasing it without, I don't know how to, my words, releasing it in different ways, but it might have to come out of the body physically. Feel it physically is what I'm saying. This past week, my throat felt like my throat was closed. Like I didn't have any like congestion. I didn't have any headaches. I didn't have nothing. My whole throat though felt like somebody was just like holding it, like it was closed and it was sore. So again, it just depends on how your body is releasing it physically. It's not always going to be emotions.
I've been feeling like my throat, like I've been feeling my throat has been like what you talking about. I mean, so painful for almost like a year and a half. But then like lately, like I've been having some crazy pain in my neck and crazy pain in my back that keeps coming out of nowhere.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, with your neck issues, it depends. Neck can be not seeing things from another perspective or changing the way that you're viewing things, depending on the side, right or left side will kind of tell you more also, but also carrying too much weight on your shoulders. So how much are you putting on? How much are you stressing yourself out with what you're putting on top of you? Your back issues come from feeling like you're not supported. And anytime if you're going through it with family and not feeling support from family, that's a lot of times it's going to be that back pain that's coming through. But again, you have to figure out a way to just know that you're supporting you. You know, they may never support you, but I don't think you've come to a place where you accept that just yet.
No, I haven't. Because it's literally like, I'm literally out here like by myself, like cut everybody off, like all my friends, well, so-called friends, you know, I kind of noticed that like, oh, y'all really low-key hating, you know, so it's like, I know that spirit has been trying to like show me like, you need to focus on you and your kids, not your cousin, not your friend over here, not this girl over here, because they really not for you. Like you just, you know it because you've been feeling it, but because you don't have your family to lean on, now you want somebody. And the somebodies that you keep closing the doors and opening these doors with out of loneliness and shit, later on, you close the doors back and you're even more disappointed that you ever opened them back in the first place because you've been new. You've been felt that vibe years ago. You know what I mean? That's why like I've been really like noticing and trying to be more self-aware lately because I'm just like, I was so lonely the other day and I was just like, maybe I should like call my biological dad. And I'm like, hell nah. He done started so much beef with the biological side of the family and stuff. So I'm like, no, don't do that. Like I had to start praying, like, don't do that. And then my 2-year-old came up and he was he just came up and he just like grabbed me and just hugged me and started rubbing my back. And he was just like, I love you, Mom. And I was just like, damn, like, I'm grateful for my kids, you know, because like a lot of us, you know, I know a lot of us, we in beer, we have our kids, you know, as motivation. So I just have to like, you know, like just focus more on him, focus more on school and stuff. But
right now, you need to get to know you. The times when we're alone, when spirit is when it feels like spirit is taking everybody away from us, it's because you need to learn your authentic self. You don't know who Nikki is yet. You haven't met the true version of self yet. So right now, when you go into those moments like, oh, I need to talk to someone, or that's when you need to deal with you. This is where you need to sit with self. This is where you need to pull her in those, even if it's a 5-minute session, I'm telling you, even if you do 5 minutes to just sit like, okay, what does Nikki need right now?
mm-hmm.
This is where you're going to be. And this is where spirit is going to tell you to focus on yourself. What do you need to do for you? Who are you? And figure you out. Because whenever we're shifting from the old version of self to the new version of self, it feels very lonely, feels very just depressing, and it feels like we have no clue what's next, you know? So just, if you feel the itch where I need someone right now, you need you. You really need you, but you're not used to calling on you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So tears aren't always going to be it. Tears are great. Love it when it happens, but it's not always it. Stuff is trapped in body in different ways. The stuff that you do will determine how it comes out, how it's released. Again, it may come out as emotions, but don't always count on it to be emotions. And, you know, I wouldn't use negative emotions though to cook at all. Like, don't use those emotions at all, because then you don't want to consume that afterward anyway. So come back, if you're with your food and stuff, come back to that loving space, come back to that, you know, that space of love, and get back in the reasons why you love to do that, why you love to put your heart and soul in that.
Okay.
And just be okay with the no crying, because again, you're going to have to work through stuff in different ways. You'll see it though, because you'll feel it physically. Like I said, you'll break out, there'll be something that'll come up, maybe you'll have diarrhea. I mean, all types of shit happens when you're doing healing and releasing energetically. We think it's just like magic, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes very physical that we will feel it. Maybe you'll just be exhausted and you'll just be tired and your body just needs rest. Allow yourself to get that rest. But checking with you right now, it's okay. Be okay to be alone and checking with you. Now it's time to learn who you are. This is the best time for your self-development, as we were talking about earlier. Self-development. Put that time into you. Because the more you get in there, the more you're going to release a lot of that stuff. But you can't release that until you get further within.
Okay.
Especially checking in with that heart space.
Okay.
Did anybody else want to share anything that came up when we checked in with the heart?
Hi. I just got a calmness with mine.
Calmness? Okay.
I was like, wow, that's nice.
Right. Different.
Yeah. Like, okay, I can go up there and stay.
Exactly. And that's what your heart was doing, showing you like, hey, you can come here for that calm and that peace and that just, you know, again, we've done so much of trying to run from the heart space that we forget the beautiful energy that's within there. I love that came up for you like that. It's a powerful space to be, and it is very, very calming and very just loving to reconnect with your own heart. It's profound. It definitely can do some shifts. All right. I'm gonna do a short meditation and put some love inside our heart. I'm gonna have you guys all on mute though. So if you want to just sit up, be comfortable, close your eyes, put your hands on your heart space. Once again, we are just going to breathe in normally. Just breathe in your nose, take it deep within the heart space. You always want to feel it in the heart space. Bring the breath into the heart space. Hold for at least 3 seconds. So 3, 2, 1, and then release. You want to do it again. Get a nice breath in. You don't want to of course, exert yourself if you have any breathing issues, but breathe as deep as you can. Get that breath as deep within your chest space as you can. 3, 2, 1, and then release. I want you to check in once again with your heart space. And I want you to ask your heart to remove one thing that is weighing your heart space down today. So I want you to visualize that heart space. I want you to see that space of what is bothering your heart and what it is. Your heart may give you a name, it may give you a feeling. You may just see a picture, you might feel something. Just take note of that. Allow yourself to pull it out. Whether you want to disintegrate it, throw it in fire, toss it into the universe, whatever you want to do with it, whatever that is that's been bothering your heart space. Throw it away, tear it up. And then I want you to, we're going to put some energy from source energy. So if you think of your creator energy, that beautiful, whether you believe in God, creator, source, universe, whoever it is that you believe in, and we're going to pull that energy in, and we're going to replace that hole, that piece, okay? Because we don't want to leave holes in our heart space. And however you want to see this energy, it could be whatever color. Take note of whatever color you see, whatever color is coming out. And I want you to just keep filling that hole with that love. And this is pure love energy. This is not your average energy that we're pulling in here, okay? This is pure, unfiltered, raw, unconditional love energy. We're filling up this heart space, filling up this hole. We ain't patching it up, all right? We are filling it up. We don't want to leave this hole in our heart. And so keep filling your heart space up, fill it all the way into that beautiful, beautiful energy. Now, of course, if you're OCD like me, you're probably shaping the front part of it or aligning it in some way, smoothing it out or something like that on there. I want you to keep doing it until you feel that space is full. Once you feel that space is full, it's secure, and it's set. I want you to thank your heart. I want you to thank Source. And just sit in that love for a moment. Breathe in all the way into that heart space. All the way into that chest. 3, 2, 1. Release. All right, and once you are ready, you can come back. Whew. Tell me what came up for you. What did you see?
I saw a hand move like this, and it was just like a dark, deep red, almost black. It was like a square, but it almost looked like tissue, and the black and just this. But then it kept on going back and forth, almost like it wouldn't quite leave. But when I filled up with the yellow, it filled up, but then it was like almost a struggle. It was like a struggle to let it go. Like,
All right.
oh yeah. It was like it was trying to fill up, but it was like kind of that like there's a a kid
It makes me feel like because you're so used to just patching, doing patchwork. We're so used to doing patchwork that it's like this tissue that you just push there for the moment, right? So use this technique of filling with love instead of patchwork. So even myself and some of the facilitators, we're actually trying to do better how we do this with you guys, so that we're not leaving the holes when we're removing. And we're always talking about releasing, and we don't focus on the filling part. So even us, we're trying to retrain ourselves to where we focus more on the filling as well as the releasing part. So we may have a lot of little band-aids that we need to go back and plug up, with that heart energy that we haven't even really focused on. So just anytime you're doing any releasing, even if the facilitator misses it, you consciously start to remember, wait a minute, I need to patch this up with that love and that healing, and take that extra step to do so, because we don't want to leave the holes, because then it goes back to that, what we think we need to. Oh, let me patch this up real quick. And you throw this little patch, it's like, oh shit, that's not sustainable. But that's needed. Kept like trying to do that. I think that's awesome though. I love that yellow comes. All the colors have like their different meanings, and
Yellow is a very common color for me to see.
yeah.
But it was like washed up like this and almost like drippy. But yeah.
Yeah. Yellow's a very strong and powerful energy, where it's a very action oriented color also. So I know people, abundance and sunshine and all of that stuff, but it's also a very action oriented energy. So
that kind of makes sense for me right now, because I kind of had this thing where I was like, you know what's holding me back from like finding love and putting myself out there, was confidence. And it was like, what about your confidence? And it was like, your weight. So I've been working I think I'm in week 4, where I've been, tight on a workout plan and eating a certain way. And I've seen results. And I feel like I have been taking these actions of like trying to get where it's like, keep on pushing through, and like, trying to be holding myself accountable, and being very open with myself, and trying to take care of myself. Putting my physical body as a thing of like, cook your meals, do the things, you're worth the thing. Who cares? Groceries are expensive. You're worth it. Like,
right.
you deserve nice things to feed yourself, just food for your body. So that does kind of make sense of like, I have been taking a lot of trying to,
right,
get myself there to the finish line.
Right. Those are all the steps though, because we do value that, even making that meal for self. It's like, I talk about it all the time, trying to just realize how you even cook for one person. Like, I still can't cook rice for one person. I don't know how to cook rice for one person. If anybody knows how to cook rice for one person, let me know. I have not mastered that. I'm like, so I get it. It's just like, what do you make? What do you do? So having to just retrain yourself on those things to make it important, make it a daily conscious, routine to say, okay, I am worth this. I am worth this work. I'm worth this time, this effort. I'm worth this. Huge steps. All right. What else came up for you guys?
I literally was a space, and when was asked to remove the piece from my heart, I literally picked it up off the shelf to remove it, and then to fill it. It was kind of like same, like yellow, goldish, to fill the space, and then put the heart back on the shelf.
Interesting that your heart is on a shelf.
And then I sat down and was just looking at it. And then I felt like almost like a sunshine, like you feel like a light, like a sunshine or something coming in as I'm looking at the shelf.
Right. That's a neat way to see it too. Interesting. How did you feel when you saw your heart, when you first saw it?
I think a little surprised. It's like, why are you on a shelf?
Right.
So
that's my thoughts. Like, why are you way over there? Yeah. Because what I'm feeling is that you definitely need to get that heart off of the shelf and into you. Right. Yeah. But I love like I said, with the color, I just love it because it is an action color and it's powerful. It's a very powerful color. So whatever steps you're taking to get in that heart space, man, keep doing it. Because again, we have to do daily rituals to get in the heart space and check in. That's the only way to understand and get more comfortable with your heart and understand what it feels like to be in there. So, all right.
For me, first of all, my 2-year-old was in my face and he kept jumping all over where I'm at. So I was trying to focus, but it was a memory that came up when I was little and I was at the visitation center waiting for my biological mom to come. And I was sitting there crying because she never came. And it was just like I visualized myself today going and picking her up and hugging her and letting her know that there wasn't nothing wrong with her on why mom never showed up.
Right.
And it wasn't anything that she did wrong.
Right.
And that was kind of the memory that came up.
Right. I'm glad that she popped up for you though. To just that moment, because it's a hurtful moment. It's playing in that heart space. And it's something, because when you see it, it's hard to see your childhood version of self in those ways. It's very hard to see that. It's heartbreaking. But it's so necessary. And I'm so glad that you got to pick her up. Hold her. Okay. Get in a meditation. Probably can't, whenever you can, call her in again. Pick her up, hug her, give her that love, sit with her, allow her to play, allow her to do whatever, run around the field, jump, whatever it is. Keep spending time with her until you no longer have to feel the pain of what she went through. Okay? There will be a time that you keep doing this and you won't have to feel that pain anymore. But it's after the time of spending with her to release it. You know what I mean? To release that pain that you got. Yeah. It could be rough, but it'll get better. It'll get better. Anybody else got anything they want to share?
I was filling my heart space up with different shades of green.
Oh, okay. I love it. And that's like, heart, we normally see it with green or pink. The heart normally has like those colors when you see it. So beautiful. Yeah. I love just filling it up.
Yeah. Like, just throw the forest in there.
Right. That's the correlation with the forest too, and the green, just having all that greenery, right? And that's, new growth, because even if you think of your lungs is right there, they look like trees and the branches and roots and shit, right?
Right.
I love it. All right, Yesenia or Katrina, what came up for y'all? I'm gonna put y'all on blast.
Mine was just my favorite color, burnt orange. My favorite color is burnt orange. And it was bright. But no memory or anything.
Okay. Did you see any filling up or just the seeing the color?
I guess while it was still in my chest. filling it up while it was still in my chest. But it was very bright.
Right. You know, the orange, it's so connected to the womb in a creative energy, creative womb energy. Pretty neat. Very powerful. I mean, all the colors are very powerful.
You see what I have on? This is my favorite color. Oh, orange. Just love orange. See, orange.
That's that sacral energy, which is huge, huge. But you know that also is a place with guilt, shame. So healing, healing and letting go, all that shit. It's a beautiful thing to be healing and letting go that, because that's one of the biggest ones that's there, you know, especially in the womb. Because we also, you know, have womb trauma that we get from our lovely mothers that passed us down from us, and then, you know, the lines that passed it down. So you know, healing and releasing that stuff is good too. Sometimes we don't even realize what we're healing and releasing. Yesenia, what came up for you? You're muted if you're talking. You're still muted. You still muted.
You can hear me now?
There you go.
Yeah, because my son came in here touching his damn phone. I was filling it up with like the color gray.
Interesting.
The color gray.
Why gray?
I don't know. I'm sitting here trying to figure out why gray. Out of all colors, gray.
Not that nothing's wrong with the color gray. It's such a neutral kind of color. But it makes sense with where you're at and what you're feeling, because there's a lot of uncertainty of how to feel where you're at. So for me, it makes perfect sense for gray to come out, because it's like, I want to fill up these wounds, but I'm not sure just yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not completely sure of how deep or how to feel. So it makes perfect sense. It's like a coating. You know what I mean? Like if you're thinking about it, it's like a preparation. It's like prepping. We're prepping the area.
I was thinking that, yeah, like just prepping the area. Well, it's gonna make me cry.
Hey, maybe you need to, and that's okay. I will send you guys this, and you guys can do the exercises if you forget how to ask yourself to go in, ask yourself how to, but it's the more you do it, the easier it is to just sit real quick, ask yourself the questions, start doing it first thing in the morning, put your hand on your heart, check in with self. What do I need today? And make sure that you honor that. Get in the habit. If you don't do it one day, don't beat yourself up. Okay. It's going to be, you have to create the routine. You have to create the routine. But the more you do it, the more you check in, the more you get to understand what you need on that, which is such a powerful level. Living through the heart space is a game changer. This is all I could say. It's a game changer. So if you do nothing else morning, put that hand there, check in. Where am I at? What do I need? You're going to hear it very loudly. Like you can't ignore the heart. It's kind of like there's nothing, you can't ignore the heart. Okay. You can try. I don't know how long.
Yeah, I'm gonna try my best to do this every day. I like the feeling.
Okay. I thank you ladies for sharing. Sometimes I know it's not easy to share personal stuff, and especially when the deep shit comes up. So I do thank you guys for sharing and just coming and vibing, and you guys get into the workshops. I can't say it enough. We do tons of different style techniques. The boot camps, I'm trying to switch them up so they're not the same, they're different. I don't know when we'll have a new boot camp, but I am doing a Mending the Heart. It's called Mending the Heart exercise tomorrow night. If you want to get into that workshop. So And that one is about looking at the stuff that's broken our heart down and doing some repairing. So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow night. So if you want to get into that one, just let me know. Some of you have already signed up, which
I want to.
Okay. Send me a message. The event is on the HBH page. So the event for it is on there. And you can donate however you would like to donate. So, you know, there's my payment information. If you guys see that around, you could do it through Facebook. I can't remember if Facebook does taxes or not. Some people pay through Facebook, but I really don't know. Probably ain't the best through Facebook, but if you do that, you could do it that way also. Just if you do it through Facebook, let me know, because for some reason I'm not getting the notification. I have to kind of keep looking and paying attention. And so that one is tomorrow night. And then the next workshop won't be until the 25th is our next one. That's the write a letter. That one is another powerful one to write a letter to. And again, we do it intuitively. So whatever needs to come out that day is who's going to come out in that workshop. And that's Louisa does that one, and she's really cool with that one in that workshop. So those are the two workshops, and we have a support group starting on the 19th. I believe it's Sunday the 19th at 6 p.m. It's a women's support group. So I'm just trying to make sure I got everything that's coming up. Yeah, those are the ones coming up, and I don't have the March calendar just yet. Okay. All right, you guys, I hope you guys do something fun. I don't know, I may be live to fuck around for an hour or two. I'll see if it's energy. If so, I will see you guys around. Sending you guys so much love.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.